Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the show where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And I'm Jack Swakowski.
This is episode number 328, and we're reviewing the Chicago White Sox versus the Cincinnati Reds game from Wednesday, August 12th, 2026 at Wright Field. We had an interesting game here. Luis Castillo looked like vintage Luis Castillo against his old team. So we can talk about that and all the shenanigans during the game. But Jack, what have you been up to lately?
Yeah, Jeremy, this happened weeks ago, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I never mentioned it to you, and I kept meaning to, but I kept forgetting, so I'm glad I remembered before we went on the air tonight.
Yeah.
It was like, about 5 or 6 o'clock on a Friday night, and I was about to meet some friends out, but I wanted to get a little bit of food first, so I walked over to Windy City Gyros, which, if you don't know, is just south of Irving Park on Broadway. It's real. It's tasty food, right? So I just wanted to get a couple of Polish sausages before I went out. So I went in there and I dined in. I just ate inside, and as I was leaving, I walk out the door, and all of a sudden I hear, "What's up, my brother?" And I was just like, "Huh?" Like I was shocked. and who's standing in front of me but Anthony?
Oh, God.
And I was just like, I was taken aback, and he's like, "Hey, man, how are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, hey, man, good to see you. I haven't seen you around much this summer." And then, we started talking, but of course we're right in front of the doorway. And,
God.
and, this, we were blocking, this third guy who was trying to get in there. So, finally, and, I was just there was too much going on for me to notice that. But finally, Anthony, turns around and sees him, and then he steps aside, and he goes, "Go ahead, my brother." And the guy walks in the restaurant and never see him again. And so Anthony was like, "Yeah, I didn't even know what to say." So I was like, "Yeah, man, maybe I'll see you around Wrigley." He's like, "Yeah, you gonna do the Yankees, man?" And it was too much for me to tell him that I was gonna skip that series because the Yankees is just too crazy. So I was like, "Yeah, man, maybe I'll see you there." And then we parted ways, and that was it. But yeah, man, I ran into Anthony at Windy City Euros, so I kept meaning to tell you that, but I just kept forgetting.
That's really funny. Yeah, when you said "What's up, my brother," I could have been anyone. I was like, well, is it the Reds buffoon? Is it?
Right.
I actually thought it was going to be Tyler. I don't think we've ever said his name before.
Well,
it doesn't matter, but
sure, we could be talking about anybody, but
sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeremy, that was nuts. And then I think for me the best part was the guy that was standing behind us, and then Anthony was like, "Go ahead, my brother." It was just like most things involving Anthony, it was just a goofy short interaction. So it was funny, and I was glad I was able to remember that one.
That is funny. Yeah, I could totally picture that happening. Anthony, he talks to you so close. He's such a. It's not even that he's a close talker. He just he kind of dwarfs over you,
Yes.
It's hard to describe, but he just kind of gets on you like a bear or something, and I can see why. I can see the expression of there will be nothing he can do because there's nothing you can do to have a conversation with him when he gets you in his sights. So
no, and oddly enough, 95% of the time you interact with Anthony, he always comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
even the last time with those waters, man, he came up behind us and was like, "Hey, do you guys want some waters?"
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta keep your head on a swivel with him.
That's funny. I don't know if I ever told you this, Jack, but I think I said on the podcast I was talking to the Gray Grapher, and we brought up Anthony and his waters because Anthony slings waters outside of Wrigley Field, and I said to the Gray Grapher, I'm like, "Hey, by the way, when he offers those waters, are those free?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he said it so innocently, as if I'm the jerk for being jaded and thinking he was going to charge me money for him. And so then I did run into him, and he's like, you want a water? And I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'll take a water. And he's like, yeah, you need it, man. Just drink up. And like he gave it to me, and I chugged it, and it was in fact free. So
Okay.
as soon as I got the green light on that one, I was like, yes, I'll take that water. So yeah, we haven't seen much of him this year, but
No.
yeah, I don't know. He seems, I don't know, like I could see him doing the Yankees and like kind of complaining about it, but yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so that was good stuff. But onto the Reds White Sox. Like you mentioned, Jeremy. This was from August 12th, so a few days ago, as of this recording. I had wanted to graph this night, but I got a late meeting put on my calendar, and so I the only thing I could do was make it for Gates. So no graphing for me. I had decided I would want to, but that I got screwed for that. It seems like you made it a little bit later than you would have wanted to as well.
Yeah, it was a whole weird like happenstance. Like just to roll it back a little bit. Chris, our buddy Chris, was supposed to go to this game, and he had to back out last minute. He had some things at the home he had to take care of. I had like some car stuff going on. I had my car in the shop, and I kind of didn't like try as hard basically to make Gates. I kind of was resigned to the fact that this car repair was taking longer than I wanted, and so it screwed me up. It definitely looked like I wasn't going to make it, and I didn't really feel like rushing, but I started making like good time down there, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I might actually make Gates or very close to it. So like the gate, there's a 6:40 start. Gates opened at 5:10, and I was on the train. Like I was getting to the Sox 35th stop on the red line at like 5:09. So I'm like, okay, I can get there quick, and I could still like get in there. I do make my way down to the spot, and of course the Gray Grapher is there already.
Yep.
And he showed me. I asked him like who signed, and he got a lot of the same guys I've already gotten on the Reds, but of course he got Tito, he got Terry Francona.
That's a tough one, Jeremy.
Yeah, we've both been trying for him for a while. I've kind of almost given up on him a little bit. And I do have some of his like pack pulled autos. So it is what it is. But I obviously would really like to get him. I have like a Cubs. He's on the Cubs card in the 1987 Topps set, and I have a cool Brewers card of him too. So it'd be kind of cool to get him on both of those, and it just didn't happen. And so that one stung a little bit.
Yeah, man. It was tough for me too to think if I hadn't had that late meeting put on my calendar, I would have been there, and I probably would have got Tito too. So yeah, it was just that was a bad miss. And of course the Greg Graffer, who I think has probably already gotten Tito before, got him again. So that was rough.
Yeah, I think it just all kind of collapsed upon itself, because like I think at one point it was going to be the three of us like graphing, and then like you had your thing, and then Chris had his thing, and I was kind of just like, I could go by myself, but it's not as fun. And so like,
right.
I think if we were all like locked in to it, we probably, maybe we all could have been there, but like, yeah, it was what it was. The only other guy that he got that we kind of had a near miss on was Emilio Pagan. He signed for a bunch of people.
Did Dennis get Pagan?
I believe he did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a rough one too, because that's another one where he's kind of been in our sights for a little while, and he did sign the last time we were graphing, but just for kids, I think.
Yeah, just for like one kid, because he had he had just blown a save, I think, at that point, and he said that he stunk or something. So, so that was a bummer. I did manage to get Dane Myers, and I have a minor league card of his from 2017 that I've had since 2017. And I had gotten him already, but I did kind of want to get him again, because I realized after the fact that I had this card, and it's him in his Rice Owls uniform, Rice University, or whatever it's called. But so I put that one out there for him, and I'm like, and it's crazy. It even says on the card pitcher, that he's a pitcher. So
wow.
Guess he pitched in college, but he saw it. He's like, "Oh, the Rice card," and so he really dug it. So that was pretty cool. It's always cool, like when you get a reaction out of the players. I was like, yeah, man, I had to get that done. I was told him like I've had it, since 2017. So that was a pretty cool one to get. And the only other like kind of near thing that happened was our buddy. We've talked about him on the podcast, right, Jack? We've
we
named him.
Yes.
Yeah. So welcome back, Jake. Is
Yep.
I guess he's. This is a guy who I think I thought I had seen with other teams, but we've only seen him with the Reds?
I feel like I've seen him with other teams too, but he's
Okay.
always there for the Reds. He seems like
Okay.
he's a Reds fan.
Okay, so yeah, he's probably a Reds fan first, and then graph some other games or whatever, other teams. But yeah, because I agree. I think I've seen him there for other teams, but he was there. And yeah, Jack, you mentioned that you had talked to him. Oh, because you saw him at the A's.
Yeah, it was no, that was the same. It was like I think I was conflating those, Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
I saw Team Ball at the A's. Welcome
I
back,
see.
Jake. I saw him. I think it was the last night, the last game of the Red Series, because I think those were maybe all night games.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, I saw him. He was there for the Reds.
Okay, I got you. So he was there again, and like I think you said you talked to him a little bit. I talked to him a little bit this game, just mostly because in the Greg Graffer sort of way, I was trying to see who he got. It turns out he got all
Yep.
the same guys as the Graffer, as the Greg Graffer, which makes sense. But there was a guy coming off the field, and he had like a long beard, and I thought it was Blake Dunn, and I think it's because I just haven't seen we've seen. It turns out it was Colin Cowgill, and so I think it's just we always see Cowgill at the bus. I feel like I haven't really like saw him up close in uniform. So I thought it was Blake Dunn. I said even out loud, I'm like, oh, there's Blake Dunn, and I go like, hey Blake. And then welcome back, Jake goes, Colin Cowgill. I'm like, oh yeah, right, okay. And I'm like, thanks, man. And I kind of like tapped him like, thanks for saving me. But yeah, so welcome back, Jake actually helped me out on that one, so that was nice.
Yeah, he does know his stuff, especially when it comes to the Reds. Like he's pretty much an ace in the hole. So as much as we complain about other graphers who don't know anything, he actually will help you out. So.
Yeah.
It can be good to have him there. He also had prime seats, too. We could see him. We eventually moved to left field. We could see him all the way from where we were sitting. He was literally sitting in the seat next to the dugout. So that guy was in hog heaven like for the entire game, and good for him, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Reds only had 2 total hits in the game, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a rough one. But he saw a good game the next day, which I talked to
Yeah.
him about, which I also attended with Marc Bubblebath, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But so this, still before you showed up, Jack, I was kind of like wandering around, and I think I like went to the bathroom, and I kind of went back out to the field because I just wasn't. So Dane Myers was the only guy I ended up getting. And I kind of, I wasn't super happy to kind of just like settle at that. I just wanted to keep my options open. And so I kind of walked back. I was kind of right behind home plate. And I kind of walked back to like the top of the concourse, like at the top of the seats. And I was trying to like look at the field. And I just wanted to see if a Harold Baines was, wandering around, or, anyone even bigger than that, or like a draft pick, or anybody on the field. And so I go to like the top of the section right behind home plate, and there's a security guard, and he's like an older guy, and he's like wiping off the seats, and like I step forward, and then I don't try to go down. I just step right to the edge of the seats, and I look on the field, and he comes up to me. He's like, yeah, can I help you? And I'm like, I'm just looking. He's like, well, this section is for family and scouts. He's like, it's after 5:30, so this section is only for family and scouts. And he's like, are you a ticket holder here? And I'm like, no, just trying to look at the field. And he's like, yeah, well, just family and scouts or something. And I'm like, yeah, got it, or something. And then like, I kind of shake my head a little bit, and like, just kind of look at the field, and then I just kind of step away, and like, I'm just like, I have this like sour look on my face, or this kind of like just befuddled look on my face, and he's like, I'm sorry, like he said it like that, and I'm like yeah, and I just like walked away, and it's like, it was like, what was the point of that? It's like they're letting people in with guns, and they're like letting people in without scanning tickets, and like this guy is like trying to be John Wayne or something about the section, like defending this territory. It's like, hey man, just chill out. I didn't even make a move to go down there. Like I'm literally just looking to see who's on the field, and yeah, it was a little annoying. I found it.
Yeah, that does sound annoying, especially since, like you said, it doesn't sound like you ever actually tried to sit in the section. You were just, like you said, looking at the field.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, just trying to see who's on the field, and yeah, like this guy was like guarding it like with his life. So that Jack, that might be the only section that they actually police in the whole stadium.
You should have said the thing about guns and not scanning tickets. Maybe thrown in the Ja rule for good measure there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could have gave him a whole list of like my issues with the park, but yeah. Right. Anyway, so that was quite annoying. The last thing I'll say, Jack, is I after that happened, after I was so rudely rebuffed from that section, I think that's when I like hit the bathroom, and I was just kind of like just dousing my face just to cool off because it was kind of a hot night. And I saw a guy next to me. Now this was I clocked it. It was 5:47 p.m. at this point. 5:47. Mm-hmm. So the gates had been open for 37 minutes. I saw a guy in the sink cleaning out a nacho helmet.
Jesus.
Now, if you think about that, if you think about the math on that, it's like you normally see that at the end of the game. Like when we hit the bathroom, like on the way out, to the train, you usually see people cleaning out like the nacho, which in and of itself is like gross. Like we've talked about that. It's just like all caked on like sour cream and cheese and just gross crud. And this guy was doing it 37 minutes after the gates opened. Like at first I was like, it's 5:47. The gates have been open for like almost 40 minutes. But this is presupposing at best the guy was lined up first, ran up to the seats like Dennis does, and then got the nacho helmet and then devoured it. And like there's no way he got those nachos before 5:20. Like it had to have taken him 10 minutes, and there's no way that this guy was running in to get this nacho helmet. So like I don't know how quick this guy ate them, but like realistically speaking, you got to shave off like 15 minutes. And that's being like that's being conservative. From like the gates open. So this guy like crushed these nachos in like 20 minutes or something.
That is a funny image of like thinking about somebody running up to the concourse like Dennis runs up to get autographs, but to get nachos instead, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what are like the first chips they serve out of the out of the bag, the best ones. Is that why you want to get it first? I don't know. But yeah, you're right about the 5:20 thing. The only thing I can think of is that he maybe he was like sharing them, but even so, those nacho helmets are big, man. I remember years and years ago, you, me, and I think Dan Gleason like split a nacho helmet and we could barely finish it. Yeah,
no, yeah. I mean, like unless they got like plates and dumped it out and like divvied it out to like 5 kids or something.
Yeah,
like the parents and like 2 kids or something. Like I don't see how you could crush that thing in that amount of time. So no. It was crazy. Even like the 2 of us, I don't think we could we would have to be like diving in there like hogs like to the slop bucket to like crush that in like 20 minutes. So yeah, it was just it was a bizarre visual given the time.
So I think in terms of us sitting in the lower deck, this was not one where we were restricted from going down there, but there was a pretty big crowd at this game. I mean, the lower deck was almost completely full. The bleachers were full, and there were people scattered throughout the uppers as well. So we were committed to sitting in the lower deck. I think partly because once you commit to sitting down there, if you're going to switch mid-game, you're basically going to miss a whole half inning if you want to walk up to the upper deck. It just takes forever. We experienced that during the Yankees game. So we committed to staying in the first deck. And for a while, it seemed like we were okay with the first seats that we chose. We chose some seats down the third base line. Maybe it was section 144, I think. And we sat there for about 4 innings. And then in the top of the fourth, we got chased from those seats. And we've talked about this many times on the podcast. But the fourth inning feels like a good inning where if you're not already at your seat, it's just anything, all bets are off. But, of course, it wasn't. So we got chased from those seats and about 2 others before we finally got to some seats where we didn't get kicked out.
Yeah, it was rough. I'm looking at the attendance. The attendance was only 24,099, 24,099. But like that one, it seemed like everyone who had a ticket showed up because that was it was fairly fairly full, and yeah, it's just getting harder and harder right now. I think it'll hit like a peak, by the end of this month, and then maybe kind of chill out a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. We don't have tickets for another Sox game, but I'm sure we'll probably get to another one. Hopefully before the month
August
ends.
25th, right?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that is true. Those ones ironically enough, we actually have like lower level seats because
right. Forgot about that.
They were makeup games from makeup tickets from a game that I had tickets for already. So we'll be actually cool for that one. But yeah. It's just the nature of, and Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the best Sox team that has been around since, like, this is the best the Sox have been in the history of the podcast, right?
It's got to be. It's at least the most exciting they've been. They had that first La Russa year. They made the playoffs, and I think they were they were drawn pretty well then too. But that team was fool's gold. I don't think anybody ever actually felt good about the direction that team was headed.
What year was that? 2021?
Yeah, because they hired La Russa. Was it? He didn't manage them during the pandemic. It was Renteria, and then so they moved on from Renteria after that year. So yeah, 21 must have been La Russa's first year.
Okay.
And then 22, and then he stepped down after that. And Grifol was 23 and 24, and then he got fired. They never should have brought Grifol back for 24, but they did. That was a strange one. 2021, Jeremy.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I don't remember having as much trouble during that season, but
neither do I.
Yeah, so it's the hardest, like to kind of move down in the history of the podcast, I would say. So,
agreed.
But I also like being able to see like some competitive games down there. So that's good. Ultimately speaking.
There was one weird thing so I guess maybe this plane was flying into Midway. Not sure, but there was a low flying plane over the stadium, and then there was a helicopter as well, and they were like converging on each other, and then the helicopter had to like swerve out of the way of the plane. It just seemed like a really close call, man. I mean, it was one of those things where maybe like our depth perception was off, and they were actually like half a mile away from each other. But it looked like they were a couple of 100 feet away from each other. It was kind of messed up.
That's what I was thinking. Like it might have just been like a perspective sort of thing, like because it also happening above us. But I feel like there was a little bit of a murmur in the crowd when it happened. And it ultimately, regardless of it, it seemed way too close and just unnecessary.
Yes.
Like there have been like stories in the news in the last like couple years of like things like this happening, in a tragic outcome, and it's like why was, and I blame the helicopter on that one, and I think it was a CPD helicopter too.
Yeah.
Like they just fly over the stadium for some reason, which even that I'm kind of troubled by. It's like, why are they flying over the stadium other than to just like kind of like get oohs and ahs from the crowd? Like it seems unnecessary. It was just weird. So I don't know. I don't see why that needs to happen again.
No. So that was interesting. And I think that was before we got kicked out in the top of the fourth. So anyway, we had to move further down the line towards the foul pole, and I think our last ejection from the seats was the most annoying.
Yeah, it was. So there was I think we had to move like maybe twice ultimately after like 3 times total. And the last time we ended up in this row, there was like I want to say 2 women in this row, and like the rest of the row was empty. And we sat down at the very end. I didn't even think we sat next to each other. I'm not sure if we even left a buffer seat, but we sat at the very end of the row. And then 2 other women who were like kind of with this group, they were like, like probably in their like late 40s, maybe early 50s. They came in the row and they're like, "You're in our seats." And we're like, "Oh, okay." And then we just moved like I think across like the aisle to the other side of the aisle, and then they go in and they sit down next to the other 2 women who are in the row, with like 2 or 3 buffer seats in between where we were sitting and where they sat.
Yep.
So like I don't know what the hell happened there. And then like later on in the game, a couple guys sat down. The same two women got up again to get like some food or whatever, and these two people like sat in that row, and the two women who were sitting there said like, sorry, those seats are taken, and they chased them out of there, and I'm like what is this? What's going on here? Like it's like they had some kind of like deal, like buy 4 tickets get the whole row free or something. It's like they just had dominion over the whole row apparently. And like I don't know if they had those tickets and the people didn't show up, or they're just like trying to. I mean, yeah, we'd all love to have a free row, but I don't know. It was definitely reaching for sure.
It was, and yeah, we got to the point too where we lost our buffer seat because we had to move into the row in front of us where there were 2 other ladies that were sitting to my right. So yeah, the whole thing was just an unpleasant experience. In our first seats too, there was this lady that felt like she was right on top of us and we couldn't talk to each other. So
yeah,
I think sitting at these White Sox games has kind of become a stressful experience.
Yeah, considering like what it was like. 4 years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, like even less than that, like 3 years ago, to now, it's just like, yeah, we could sit wherever we wanted. We didn't even really take advantage of like how close we could have sat previously.
No.
We got those foul balls, and it's just like now it's like, yeah, people are breathing down our neck and stuff, and so it definitely feels like just to make it easier on us is to just go and sit in the upper deck.
Yeah, Christ, man. I mean, 3 years ago, like, guys were taking their shoes off and putting their, marijuana-socked feet up on the seats in front of them. And now we there's nowhere to sit in the lower. So, yeah, it's becoming bad. We hadn't seen this in a while, at least, but they did a pitch speed contest on the scoreboard. So they had Southpaw and this, like, teenage kid. I think
Joel from Switzerland.
I don't think is there a Switzerland in Illinois, or is that like he's actually from Switzerland?
Did they say somewhere in Illinois?
I don't know, man. It's if he was actually from Switzerland, that's I believe it.
I don't remember. Like I meant to ask you about this, but I figured to just save it for the podcast. His name was Joel, and I could have swore that I heard them say Switzerland, which was. It's improbable. Like I would not, like die on that hill. But like I thought they said something about Switzerland. But yeah, they had him do like the pitch speed game.
Yes, and he did the crow hop. He only got up to about 56 miles per hour too. So even with that crow hop, he didn't throw it very fast. His high might have been 66. So he was facing Southpaw. And whatever. Kid throws a 66 mile an hour fastball. Southpaw comes up. And he whips it in there, man. He looked like Tarek Skubal throwing that ball. Like he had good form on his fastball. He was a lefty because he was southpaw, and he threw it 77 miles per hour, and it was a strike. And I don't think that they exaggerated the radar gun heat there. It looked like he actually threw a legit 77. So that was pretty surprising, and that must not be an easy thing to do with that big, heavy costume on. I mean, Christ, Chris Sale wouldn't even pitch with those White Sox jerseys on. This guy's throwing 77 in a southpaw costume.
Yeah, totally. It was I was like, I remarked that he was a lefty like upon seeing it, and then I realized, I'm like, oh, is that like his name? The mascot's name is Southpaw. I'm like, is that a requirement that anyone who does that has to be left-handed?
Right.
I'm seeing my future. I don't think I can hit 77 on the gun though, so that's a thing. But I'm my handedness is correct for that. So yeah, but. Yeah, I mean, the kid was just like the guy throwing like, and we say kid, but he I think he was in his 20s or something.
Yeah, I mean, he was at least an older teenager.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like every detail we give is kind of proving that he might be from Switzerland, because it's like I just don't like understand like. To me, and again, we're like, we're oddballs in all these situations, but to me, like the pitch speed game, like I would like to see what speed I would throw replicating the conditions of baseball, like doing a wind up and like actually throwing it. And these guys just like run and throw it like they're like, throwing a javelin or something. And like it's like this is not part of the spirit of this game. It's like
No.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for a guy to do like the Sam Fold where he like runs and then throws himself in the air and does a flip just to get like as much like velocity on the throw as possible. It just isn't like in the spirit of testing your speed.
Right. No, it doesn't make any sense. You'd think White Sox fans would have called that out on Kopech all those years ago. That was Kopech who did that, right?
It was, yeah. So I think the story, and this is so old at this point, it's worth reminding people. But like, I think during spring training they were like doing pitching drills before Michael Kopech got called up to the bigs, and he was like, he was in the was it the Chris Sale trade, I think. They got him from Boston. Yeah. And like, they were like, this kid can throw hard. And like, they were showing him and they're like, he hit 106 miles per hour or something, but like he did like a crow hop to do it.
Yes.
And it's just like, that's not how you pitch. You cannot pitch like that from the mound in a regulation game. So it's like, I'm not super impressed by the fact that you threw 106 with a crow hop. So
what?
Anyway.
I suppose I could just look this up, but what happened to Michael Kopech?
I don't know. I think he was released by the Dodgers, and I'm not sure if he's on a team. He very likely could be hurt and like finding his way back to the bigs. But yeah, he hasn't. I haven't heard his name in a long time.
No, same. So maybe worth looking up sometime. I guess a few game things before we kind of wind down for this. The Reds didn't do anything in this game. They got, like you said, Jeremy, they got 2 hits. The whole game was just a dud for them. Sal Stewart went 2 for 4, which I guess is cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer because Castillo went 7, and he struck out the last 3 batters he faced. He ended up striking out 10. For people who like follow like Game Score, which is like I think is a Bill James creation, they can compute like a game score based on like how many innings you pitch, how many strikeouts, how many balls, how many hits, and I've kept track of some of the better games that we've seen in person, and this game, Luis Castillo ended up with an 83 game score, which ties a game that we saw in June of 2018. Carlos Carrasco threw an 84 or an 83. Justin Steele complete game that we saw in 2024. He threw an 84. Drew Smiley, which was the almost perfect game we saw, threw an 87. And then Jordan Montgomery, who threw that, I think it was a one-hitter complete game shutout against the Cubs, was a 92. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was in the top 5 of best pitching performances we've seen for the podcast. So
yeah, that's pretty significant.
Pretty significant. And so he had only given up 1 hit, and then Brazoban. Why can't I say his first name?
Is it Huascar?
Huascar Brazoban, which we can talk about that really quick. He came into the game in the 9th and gave up a hit. So it's like it was almost a 1-hitter. So it's kind of a bummer. Brazoban came into the game and we saw him. It's gotten to the point, Jack, where it's got to this point a long time ago, but we cannot trust anything that's on the White Sox scoreboard. I mean, it's almost like real life now with AI. It's like you see something, you see a video clip, and you're like, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, oh crap, that was AI. Forget it.
Yeah.
But like Brazoban, so they said he's like what, like 37 or something?
36? Yeah, 37. Yeah, he'd born in maybe 89, I think.
Yeah, and it's like the guy only debuted a couple years ago. He seems like a hot commodity, like at the deadline, and a good addition for the Sox. I thought like, oh, maybe this guy could be the closer of the future for them. But the dude's 36 years old. And we had to look it up because we didn't believe it. We assumed that it was our first assumption was that the White Sox scoreboard was wrong.
Right.
But it is true. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Higgins Smith also came into the game to pitch the 8th inning, and he struck out the side as well. He did walk the first batter, but he struck out the side. So it was cool to see him. That was only his second career appearance in a game, so that was cool to see an early appearance by Higgins Smith. So just a pitching masterclass by the White Sox in this game.
Yeah, so it was a good one to see, and also Chase Mydroth hit his second straight 2-run home run in a game we were at. So yeah, he's been hot when we saw him. And Drew Romo got 2 hits, including a home run. It felt like he'd been sitting on 5 homers for about 2 or 3 months. So he got off the schneid on that one. So yeah, good game to see if you're a Sox fan. On our way out, we saw this. I was just thinking during this game, I was like, I haven't seen any of the shakes. Whether it was that chocolate shake they had or the celebration cake shake, you haven't been seeing many of them. Novelty feels like it's worn off. They're also hard to obtain because you can only get them at the Vizzy bar. So that's the thing. Anyway, as we were on our way out, we saw a lady and her boyfriend or whatever, and they had a double milkshake. It was the chocolate one, but it was just this huge. It looked like a pitcher of milkshake. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I guess that's probably what they did for this year, is made like a double campfire milkshake. So and I'm afraid to think about how much it costs. I mean, like the regular campfire milkshake is, I mean, it's like $15-$16 or something, isn't it?
At least it might be about 20. Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing just probably double that. So I guess that's the new novelty of the shake situation. But it's too bad that they can't have that more accessible. But we were speculating just because it's ice cream, like it would melt maybe or something. But I mean, they have the rainbow cone, so I don't know. It seems like they could do it, but I don't know.
Well, like you said, Jeremy, if we had a Patreon or whatever, people donate that. Yeah, see Jack and Jeremy take down one of those doubles, each by themselves. Could be interesting, an interesting project for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, right. The special Patreon level. Oh yeah, just like what was he? Oh, the nacho helmet. I don't know why. I don't know, like us sharing food is like a Patreon level, but have us buy us a nacho helmet or a double campfire milkshake, and like we'll eat it like at the game and document it. The game ended. It was 5-0. The Sox did get a couple insurance runs in the 8th inning. But it was a 5-0 victory for the White Sox, and we decided to head back. We took the green line again, and there was a handful of people taking the green line with us. Sometimes we're like the only people who take it, but we were taking it, and like we saw that a train was coming, so we really had to bolt for this train, and we did. It was not pleasant.
No. First of all, it was kind of hot outside, so that wasn't good. Not too hot, but hot enough that we worked up a little bit of a sweat running to this train. Also, right when we tapped in was seemingly like the train started to pull into the station, and so we had a long run just to get to up onto the platform. So, Jeremy, you were kind of in front of me, and so I had like a weird view of this. But you were just bounding up those stairs, man. Like you were taking those stairs. You were taking those stairs 2 at a time, dude. It was crazy. Yeah. It was like you were like Super Mario going up these stairs. And I was like, I'm gonna take these 1 at a time because I'm not gonna like bust my shit just to catch this train. But man, you were doing them 2 at a time, dude. You were crazy.
Yeah, it sucks. I freaking hate doing that, and it's like, the time that you usually end up doing that, I mean, it's like either you're on your way to work or coming back from work, and like I have like it's not a crazy long walk, but it's a long enough walk to the train, and like I walk fast like normally, and so like I made a pact at some point a couple like years ago where I'm like, I'm not gonna run up the stairs anymore to get on the train to work. It's like if I'm late, I'm late. I don't care. Like it's like I did it before, and like it's like 8:30 in the morning, and it's like already hot. It's the summer, and you run up these stairs, and then you're just sitting there like, and I sweat. I'm a sweater, so like I'm just dripping sweat at like 8:30 in the morning. It's like I can't think of anything worse than being in that situation. Then you still have to go and work the whole day, and I don't know. In this instance, I don't know. I was just kind of, it probably wouldn't have been great to miss that train and have to catch the next one. No, it would have sucked. So, and like, it would have sucked. It also might not have been the safest thing too. So like, I'm like, let me get up these stairs. I was like, I didn't really have a plan. Like if if you ended up in the back or whatever, like I was maybe going to try to hold the door or something, but once we got on the platform, I kept looking back at you to make sure you were like within spitting distance. So we made it, but like the other thing about the green line, which I knew, I think this is what kicked me into next gear, was that like the train doesn't stop right where the platform, where you get on the platform. Like it goes like a good, like, I don't know, like 50 yards beyond that spot. So you have to like run. You have to go way down the track, the platform, and like no one ever does that. We learned the hard way a couple times, and so I knew like not even, like getting to the platform wasn't enough. We had to like run down the platform. So it was a whole ordeal basically.
It was, and yeah, when you say 50 yards, you're not exaggerating. And I think I heard someone say the next one wasn't for 16 minutes, so the stakes were high. We would have gotten home significantly later, so it was good that we caught it.
Yeah. So that was a bummer. So, Jack, one thing I forgot to bring up in this game, that one of the in between inning, like little games that they had, they do this all the time. Like they have a kid do a home run derby thing, like up in the top left corner of the park. They have like this fundamentals. They don't even call it that anymore. I don't know what they call it, but there's this little park for kids, and like they have a kid do like a home run derby. They put balls on a tee, and they try to see how many homers they can hit in like 2 minutes. And this little kid was playing, and he was wearing, I noticed that he was wearing like little kid's jersey, and it was like an Abreu jersey. And like this kid was like, 7 years old maybe, like something like that. And like, I don't know, when did Abreu last play on the team? 2023 maybe?
Maybe 22 or 3, it feels like. Yeah, it's been years.
Yeah, and so like, you made the point of like this kid, there's no way this kid was like remembered being on the 22. There's no way that this kid could possibly remember Jose Abreu as a player. And I'm like, so either the parent just got him this shirt, this jersey for cheap, and I was saying like, the White Sox should really like be like, hey, little Timmy, like, in addition to playing the home run derby, we thought we'd update your jersey a little bit. So here's a Miguel Vargas jersey, or here's a Colson Montgomery jersey. Of course, they didn't do that. No. And I bring this up because, Jack, I went to the game the next day with Marc Bubblebath, like I said, and they did it again. And I kid you not, Jack, the kid was wearing a Brett Lawrie jersey.
A kid was wearing a Brett Lawrie jersey. That's insane, man. Brett Lawrie hasn't played on the White Sox for 10 years.
And did he even play more than 1 year on the Sox? Like, no, he played 94 games with the Sox in 2016. He was a flash in the pan player, like a disappointment ultimately as a player, because he was like a high draft pick, I believe, and
for
just
the Brewers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and just never amounted to anything in the majors. And I was incensed. I'm like, what? Okay, so now I'm like, okay, there's no way. Like what are the odds? Unless they like purposely look for little kids with jerseys. And I'm almost convinced now that they're giving these kids. Not only are they not giving them new ones, they're actually giving them old clearance jerseys. Yes. That they have somewhere in a box, like in the back of the team store. Like a Brett Lawrie jersey, like come on, that was crazy, man. Crazy to see.
I want to see what jerseys they have now. I want one of these jerseys. I think I used to have a Brett Lawrie jersey. Actually, I don't know what happened to it, but
did you? Okay.
Yeah, that's insane though, man. That's awesome. I had a Delmonico one too. Again, it's just one of those things that got lost probably during a move. But yeah, that's brilliant, Jeremy. I wish I could have seen that.
Craziness. So we got a little bit of time here. I have a couple notes from the game I went to with Marc Bubblebath, which you can imagine. There were some things that happened.
Right.
First thing, not Marc Bubblebath related at all, but there was a benches clearing incident in the game. I was at the game where Sel Stewart got hit in the front of the helmet by Davis Martin, and the benches cleared. And Jack, we've seen a lot of exciting things. Obviously, we pay attention in different ways. We watch in different ways, and we can understand what are some of the more subtle or exciting things about baseball. home run, grand slam, walk off, whatever. I mean, we haven't really seen benches clear, I think, for the podcast.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, I don't remember really seeing it much ever in my life either. Like maybe once before that, and I don't think anyone's ever gotten ejected. But yeah, Sel Stewart hit a homer, and then the next time at bat, Davis Martin hit him. He threw at his head once, and then he threw at him a second time and hit him in the helmet. Now, I think everyone's kind of settled on the fact that it wasn't intentional, but still, Sel Stewart was pissed, and the bench is cleared. The bullpen's emptied, so it was like a big deal. No fight actually happened, but it was tense. And Jack, I took some video and some pictures of it, and I noticed this at the time. Like, some guy was like standing and like blocking my view, like, which of course happens. This guy, I think, had just shown up to the game maybe, and was like wearing this stupid backpack and was like just kind of making his way into the aisle, and he just was not paying attention to the potential brawl on the field. Like, the bench is cleared, like everyone's like, there's like a hubbub, everyone in the stands is like kind of like like rustling about, and this guy's just like not completely oblivious, just like ushering into his like shuffling down the row into his seat, and then like right after that, like when it had kind of died down a little bit, but the bench, everyone was still on the field. His friend showed up, and they just like they hug each other, like, oh hey Bill, good to see you, and they're like hugging and standing up, and I was just like thinking to myself, Jack, what does it take on the field for people to pay freaking attention to baseball? There's a brawl happening in front of you guys. There's like 60 guys on the field, like with tensions brewing, like bubbling under the surface, and these guys are just hugging each other. Like, oh, hey, good to see you, Bill. Like, what does it take? What does it take for people to pay attention? I don't know, Jack. It was mind-boggling.
That's like something that would happen in a National Lampoon's Naked Gun movie.
Yeah, right. There's like a whole thing going on behind these guys, and like, I don't know. I was incensed by that, of course, but obviously.
No, yeah, that's wild. I mean, I we've obviously witnessed bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, bases loaded, biggest at bat of the game, people just having their backs to the field. But I don't know if I've ever seen anything that egregious.
I have it documented in a picture. I took a picture of like the thing, and like this guy is just faced sideways, like going into his row. It's like, dude, what? It's insane. So okay, last things last, Jack. I will tell this story with Marc Bubblebath. If you listeners, if you recall the last time Marc Bubblebath went to a game with us, I think we documented this on the podcast.
We did.
He brought a bag with him, a shoulder bag with nothing in it. Did we document what the exact contents of the bag?
Didn't he have like some kind of weapon to protect himself? Or
yeah, he CTA? had. He called it a rock, but it was just like a chip of a brick, like a little sliver of like brick that he had, like, that he picked up off the ground. So he had that. Did he also have a knife? I can't remember if he had like a pocket knife or something. Like,
he might have.
Not. Yeah, and then his cell phone, and I rode all the way down there with him, and I don't know how I didn't notice this, but he had this like shoulder bag which you cannot bring into the park, it was this whole ordeal where we went through the gates, and then he was stuck there, and then he had to go pay $10 to check the bag, and it was a whole thing. And like, I was like incensed at the guy. I'm like, and he's like, I don't like to put my phone in my pocket, so I carry it in this bag. I'm like, you carry a whole shoulder bag just for your little cell phone? Like, that's insane. So anyway, this isn't even the story. So this time he goes like, yeah, and this time I won't bring my bag. I'll put my phone in my pocket. And I was like, good call. Like, that's probably smart. Whatever. We had a kind of like a chuckle about it. Jack, he showed up at my apartment, and then we were gonna walk to the Brown line to head down. I come out, and he has his bike with him. Okay, he has a bike with him. This was like an unauthorized, announced bike. transportation situation. So he had his bike with him. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's not a big deal. There's nothing to be alarmed about with that. We walk to the train, and like, okay, also they moved this game up an hour. It was supposed to start at 1:10. They moved it up to 12:10, and they announced it at like 11 o'clock. It was crazy. And so now I was trying to get there early. I wasn't going to really drag Mark down there early, but I was like, I kind of want to go down there. He seemed kind of up for it. So I'm like, I'm not going to kill us to get there at first pit or at gates open, but I'd like to get there early. So now it's shifted to like, hey, we got to get down there because we're going to miss the beginning of the game. And so Mark like wanted to get, he's like, I want to stop at this liquor store and get a bottle of LaCroix or a can of LaCroix. And I'm like, really? You need to get that? Like, and so I was mad at him. But I've known Mark for like almost 30 years at this point. So like, you know, we have that kind of relationship, but if you hadn't noticed already, but, I was like, seriously? Like, you need to get a LaCroix right now? It's like, we're trying to get to the game. And he's like, it'll be quick. And so he takes his bike and he puts it on the bike lock, like this bike rack outside of the liquor store. And I said to him, and Mark doesn't listen to me. Like, he doesn't hear stuff that I say. And like, I feel like I'm a pretty practical, like a pragmatic person, and he just doesn't hear what I say, and then it just makes me sound like crazy, and then totally frustrates me. So I go like, hey, maybe why don't you just lock it up here, because we were about a half block away from the actual train. So I'm like, why don't you just lock it up here? And he's like, no. And it's like, let me just watch it. I'm going to go inside. And he goes inside, and he comes out with like a little bottle of water. They didn't even have the LaCroix, and it's like the bottle of water he could have just bought anywhere. So he goes, he's like, hey, you know what? I'll just lock my bike up here. And I'm like, that's what I said already. So I'm like already yelling at this guy, and I'm already kind of like rushing him to like get to the park. So he goes and he locks his bike up. Then he like locked it in a weird way where he like took up the whole bike rack. And I'm like, don't you want to move this so other people can park there? And he's like, no, other people can park there. That's fine. I'm like, whatever. And then I just like march across the street, and we get on the train. We go to the game. We go through the whole game, and we also got bounced too from our seats twice, or once actually. So like even at a 12 noon game, we got bounced from our seats. So it is an issue. We take in the whole game. We start leaving, and we're walking down the ramp, and Mark like pats his back pocket, his left butt pocket, right? And he's patting it, and he's like making this face like, uh-oh. And I'm like, what? And he's like, And I'm like, what? And he's like, my bike lock, my bike key. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's not in my pocket. And I'm like, what is it? Why is it in your pocket? Why is it in your back pocket? And I'm like, don't you have a keychain? And he's like, no. And I'm like, you don't have a keychain? And he's like, no. And then he's like, all I got is this. And he shows me like a carabiner with keys on it. I'm like, that's what I'm talking. That's what I just asked you. And he's like, oh yeah, I got this, but it was too hard to put on there. And so he's like, I just put it in my back pocket. And he's like, but I'm always patting my pocket to make sure it's in there. And he's like, and now it's not in there. And I'm like, well, exactly. Like, yeah, it's like, I would be afraid it would fall in my pocket too. That's why I would put it on a keychain, whatever. So we go back to the seats, and we're looking, and oddly enough, there was like two people sitting in our seats. Like we managed to remember where we were sitting. We get back there. These two rando like old people are sitting in our seats. I'm like, excuse me, we're looking for a lost key. So now me and him are both looking, and these two old people are like looking. This old lady gets up, and she's looking, and like, we're like, yep, we don't see it. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And like, we're like, yep, I don't know. Oh, well. And we leave the park, and I'm just like, yeah, man, I don't know. My stepdad might have like a pair of bolt cutters. Maybe he can like, like break the lock. Like worst case scenario, you just snip the lock and you need to buy a new lock, but you'll get your bike back. And he's like, yeah, like, man, he's like, I'm so stupid. Like I should have, like he's talking about like how this bike like has like changed his life because he's like getting out there and like riding this bike and this whole thing, and like, and we're coming up with this plan, like, maybe the store owner has a key. Maybe you drop the key by the bike. Maybe it's at the train. We get to the train, and we asked the lady like from the CTA in the booth. We're like, hey, did someone turn in a bike key? And she's looking in like she's looking like 4 different spots, and she's like, sorry guys, no bike, no lock. And we're like, okay, or no key, like whatever, okay, fine. So then we leave, we start walking towards the bike, and Mark's like, I just want to see if the bike's there still, like. And so we looked, and he's like, because I didn't see it from the platform. And we walk, and we see the bike is still there. He's like, okay, good, the bike's still there, thank God. And this is the other thing that he said when we were leaving. He's like, maybe I can just pull it open, maybe I can just like yank it and pull it, and it'll open up. And I'm like, and I said to him, I'm like, you're a smart guy, Mark, right? Like, you consider yourself smart, right? Like, didn't you like finish school? He graduated like grade school early or whatever. And I'm like, you're a smart guy, right? Like why do you think that's gonna work? And like, we went through this whole thing on the train. I'm telling him, I'm like, what choices did you make that led you to this situation? Like, I'm like having like a therapy session with the guy, and I'm just like, and he's like, I'm like, you know, isn't this important to you? I'm like, well, then why wouldn't you like, you know, take better measures to protect this key? Like, I'm doing all this stuff with him. Anyway, we walk to the bike. Okay. He gets to the bike. He leans over, he grabs the cable, and he pulls it, and it opens. Okay. Oh, the bike lock opens, and he's like, huh? And he's like, why was this so loose? And I look, and the freaking key is in the bike lock.
Oh my God.
He never took it out of the bike lock. And then, and I'm like, you freaking idiot. And then he like looks at it, and then he looks at the bike. He's like, oh, the key's in there. And I'm like, yeah, the key's in there. I'm like, wait a second. You didn't think that you actually ripped that thing open, did you? And he's like, no. The key. I can't believe it. And I was just like, you idiot. And I'm like, and then he gets in my face, and he's like, yeah, I told you, the pocket thing never fails. You know, it didn't fall in my pocket. It was here the whole time. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, good. I'm like, keep doing it then. I hope you really do lose it then. And I hope you really do lock your bike. And he's like, no. He's like, I'm just joking. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then I'm like, put it on your freaking keychain. And then he's like, I told you, it wouldn't work. It doesn't work. And like, he was trying to put the key directly on the carabiner, not on like a key ring. And I'm like, not on the carabiner, you idiot. I'm like, put it on a key ring. And so like, I'm like, give it to me. And like, I took his keys and I put it, and he's like, it's hard. And I'm like, I did it in like 3 seconds. I'm like, put it on the thing. And I'm like, here. And I handed it back to him. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And then he goes, best Sox game ever. After I passed it back to him. So that's the story there. You know, it involves me calling him an idiot and getting hostile with him. But it was just mind blowing. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, the best part about Mark's stories is that you never quite know where they're going to end up. He's lucky the bike didn't get stolen.
Yeah, then he goes like, you live in a great neighborhood. Like no one took my bike, and it was like this the whole time. Like, Jesus, man. It's like, you know, I thought it could have been dropped it in front of the lock. Maybe it was in the store. We hypothesized a lot of different places, but I did not anticipate it being in the actual lock itself. It was just crazy.
No, my favorite part, I think, too, is him actually thinking that he opened it without the key being in it, too. Probably for a split second, right? Yeah, no, that was, like, I didn't think that at first, and then when he didn't realize that the key was in the lock for, like, a good, like, 10, 15 seconds, I'm like, wait a second. You do not think that you pulled that thing open yourself, right? And he's like, no, of course not. But, like, I think he did. Personally. So anyway. Well, you know, Jeremy, it's unfortunate that I had to work this day, because you know, yeah. I'm sure I would have skipped out on the end part of that story, but I could have seen some of it. So I think every year there's got to be at least one. We got to invite Mark to one game every year, but so even though I wasn't there, I still feel like I experienced it with you. Yeah, no, after experience, like after the last one, it's like the guy is good for something each time, and like you just can't predict what it is. Like after the whole like bag thing last time, and then he even like acknowledged it, and he's like, no, I won't do that again. It's like I know him too well to think we were in the clear, but I just wasn't like thinking about it, and it was like, oh my god, like he outdid himself. It's crazy. Well, Jeremy, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Oddly enough, you and I are both going to the Baltimore, D.C. area. I'm going to be going to some Orioles games Thursday and Friday of this coming week, and you'll also be at an Orioles-Nats game a little bit after that. So, we'll maybe we can recap our experiences for that, and also we'll be going to the Sox game on August 25th, so we've got a little bit of exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I said last time, it's a bummer we're missing each other by a day, but yeah, definitely we'll have our own stories to share. And then the day I get back, we have tickets for the Sox, so hopefully no delays, no snafus in that plan. But we'll have some stuff to talk about. So yeah, it should be good. But yeah, for this episode of Rain Delay Theater, I am Jeremy Dionisio.
And I'm Jack Swakowski.
We'll talk to you next time.